All right, let's see if we get some computer screen and wait for all this and tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Da, 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 da. Need the Jeopardy music as per normal. Come on, YouTube, let's go. Today, sometime. Hello, come on, please, maybe. Come on. Jacob says 5x5. Okay, here comes my screen. Healthy Disrespect, Tate, Texas Raider, new names. Lorna, Russell Wiggins, Farm Ranch Homestead, Krista, Sassy Prep. Okay, we got new names in here. Good evening, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hope you all had a productive day, be it employment or otherwise. But it was fun around here. Got my truck back, so $250 later. Granted, $100 of that was a tow. But yes, it was the like exactly as we thought. Mouse had gotten in and chewed the wires, or chipmunk or something, chewed the wires to one of my fuel injectors, and so they had to put a new pigtail on there, do all that. So simple enough, but at least I got my truck back. It wasn't a killer. Go for there. That was funny. Last week, was it Saturday, we talked about it, and somebody had mentioned putting like wire mesh or something underneath the motor. So I asked the mechanic while I was there, great guys at SNL. Obviously, if you're not in my area, Tazewell, Tennessee, you're not going to know this, but mechanics at this shop are top notch. Okay, very helpful. We'll stop and talk to you, explain everything, and the way it's supposed to be. But so I asked him about the wire mesh. He goes, "Don't do that." He goes, "It's such a pain." I said, "Okay." I said, "Somebody else told me about spraying the wires with peppermint oil." And he's like, "That's it." Okay. So if anybody has this problem, peppermint oil is what not only somebody else, my buddy, had recommended, but a mechanic had confirmed. So that was a good idea. Then he told me a funny story. He goes, "Yeah," he goes, "I saw one guy who had the problem one time. He thought it was a good idea to put a rubber snake in his engine." I'm like, "Yeah, engines get hot. Rubber melts." He goes, "Yeah, there was rubber all over his engine and it stunk." So I was like, "Okay, it was an interesting idea, but not a good one." So that was that part. Uh, the fun one, y'all asked about this. Pear wine. It's got one more week to ferment and it'll be done. I've got a couple of gallons of this made up. So this is fresh pears out of the orchard back here, and we will see how this all comes out. I can smell it through the coffee filter on top, and it smells like wine. So, but it still needs another week to ferment. So we'll do that. So that'll probably be a Halloween uh, enjoyment, if you will. Yes, next Tuesday is going to be interesting. We will do a live stream. It's going to be Halloween night. We're going to have a live stream. So that ought to be fun. But as everybody's watching the live stream, the doorbell keeps ringing. Though around here, never had to worry about it. 4 years, we've never had a kid show up at the door. But who the hell's going to walk back here? It's like, yeah, a kid's got to walk half a mile between houses. Nah, they're not going to do that. So, like I said, never had a kid. Always buy some candy just in case one kid shows up, but never get one. So, all right. A few of you guys have asked me about this. Patches. They will be here Thursday. They were shipped today via FedEx, so I will have them. If you are interested in getting one or multiple of these, I mean, basically they are BDU patches, but put them on your hat, put them on your bug out bag, whatever you want. If you're interested, here's what you do. Need to mail me $5 per patch cash. Okay, do not send me a check. I cannot cash them. If I could cash it, in order to cash a check made out to Pinball Preparedness, I'd have to register as a business, go get a bank account, yada yada yada. Can't do it. Okay, I know mailing cash sucks, but it's the only way to do it. You can $5 per patch. You need to send me a self-addressed stamped envelope as well. I can get 2 patches in an envelope for 1 stamp. Okay, so if you want multiple, if you want 4, for example, send me 2 self-addressed stamped envelopes and $20. Okay, I will go to the post office starting on Friday morning and pick all this stuff up. So I figured I'd let you guys know now. I'll get some out this weekend for whatever you want, but that's how those will work. I got 200 of them again. So again, it'll be on first come, first serve. And you guys know last time we went out like that and I had to send some of the people their money back because I ran out of patches. But 200 is what we got. It takes about a month to get these things made. So I wanted to let you know that. All right, so there's the happenings around here. As to interesting news today, I guess we are now up to 33 Americans killed in Israel, troops. Okay, I guess there's been 14 attacks on bases around the Middle East, primarily in Iraq, with Iran primarily the aggressor, sending drones and missiles and stuff like that toward U.S. air bases. We're going to get involved, guys, eventually. Don't worry about it. You know, if you're saying, it won't happen, count on it, okay? Get your head out of the sand. It's coming. Okay. On the political side, interesting. Tom Emmer, who was now the third person to be, I guess, nominated, if you will, for Speaker of the House, he backed out because he had no clear path to victory. And like I've said a couple of times before, I'm perfectly happy with this because as long as there's no Speaker of the House, that means no business gets done in the House, which means no money gets spent, okay? So they can't piss away money to Ukraine, piss away money to Israel, do any of this sort of stuff. And they can't come up with more stupid laws. So as much as everybody's complaining, going, oh, gee, the business of the government's not getting done. The business of the government, I don't want them to do, because all they do is screw things up, you know, cause more inflation, like I talked about this morning, and get us in more trouble. So there was that. The final one was, if anybody you guys caught this today, Mark Meadows, who was one of Trump's chiefs of staff, took a plea today with the whole Jack White investigation. I think, no, wait a minute, he wasn't, no, I'm sorry. I guess it's on the Georgia one, but he's going to testify truthfully in exchange for some drop charges or whatever. And it's hilarious reading the spin that the news puts on it. And ABC is the absolute worst, okay? And I went through and read this. They are talking about how Meadows lied, right? All of this is their whole article, how Meadows lied. He talked about his beliefs, that he believed the election was stolen. That's a lie. Okay. Let me ask you this. How many weathermen have we prosecuted because they tell us it's going to rain tomorrow and it doesn't? They believed it would, but they were wrong, right? How many stock market analysts? The market's going up, the market's going down. How many of them are in jail? None. Okay. Your belief is different than what proven fact is, right? I believe Fords are better than Dodges. I think I have some facts that back it up. Somebody else may disagree with me, right? It's their belief. It's fine. So they're going to, I mean, I'm laughing hysterically at all these people that the Democrats think, oh, we got him now. You know, he's going to testify against Trump. They're going to go into court and go, he said what he believed. I said what I believed. We disagreed. No crime in that. I mean, this is going to, these prosecutors are going to wind up with so much egg on their face. I mean, they are going to be so embarrassed. It's going to be funny. And if there's anybody out there who still believes Trump's going to get convicted, they're smoking more crack than Hunter. Okay. But it's just humorous. And I mean, there was one comment in here. Let me see if I can find it here real fast. This is in the ABC article. It says 4 of those charged have already pled guilty and agreed to testify for the prosecution, where the others, including Meadows, Trump, and Giuliani, have pleaded not guilty and are awaiting trial. Yeah. Look at what they're pleading guilty to. Nothing. Okay. I mean, what is it? Sidney Powell, I think, is getting like a $6,000 fine. Yippee! So what? Okay. Because, oh, she got on the news channels and said that she believed that the election was stolen. Okay. You're going to throw away all the felony charges because you can't prove them. I don't have to pay $100,000 to a lawyer. I'll pay $6,000 to have this go away. Okay. Yeah, sounds like a good deal to me. I saved 94 grand. Works for me. Okay. This is the problem with our legal system. Okay. And the funny thing is, tip of the nose stuff. Okay. The Democrats do not realize what's coming. Remember Harry Reid and his nuclear option to approve judges? And, oh, yeah, we're going to do it on 51 votes and everything. And then, of course, everything turned. And Trump was president, and the Republicans controlled Congress and said, well, it takes 51. You can't do that. Yeah, actually, we can. And guess what? You created the rules that we could. So, I mean, it's going to be funny that come January 2025, unless Biden pardons himself, okay, I will be very surprised if they don't continue going after these criminal charges, which of course is the one problem that you have with the House and no speaker right now, is that puts the Biden investigation on hold, which frankly, at this point, I don't care. All right, we're 3 years into his 4-year reign of terror. What are they going to do? Impeach him when he's got 2 months left as president? Who cares? I mean, the damage is already done. Let's just get it on the record so they can prosecute him criminally, throw his old ass in jail or seize all his assets, which I think would be a whole lot better, and let him live out his glory days in the poorhouse. But so that's the fun part there. All right. Let's get into Q&A. Let me get back to the screen here so I can see what's going on. And we will get into our normal fun stuff. So if you're new here, which, like I said, I saw some new names, I'll kind of explain what goes on here. We do Q&A. Your chance to ask me questions, ask each other questions, that maybe you aren't sure about. Now, if you have a question for me, what I ask is that you put it in all caps in the chat room. Makes it a lot easier and a lot faster for me to get to as many questions as I can, because I can just look for the ones in all caps. If you want to have conversations amongst yourselves, which I wholeheartedly encourage, because I don't have all the answers, guys. I don't know how to do everything. Okay? Anybody that tells you they do is lying to you. I know a lot of stuff about a lot of things, and I know absolutely nothing about other things. That's why we have mags. Okay, that's why we associate with other people. It's why I say a lone wolf is a declaration of suicide. Nobody knows how to do it all. I don't care if you are the world's greatest lumberjack and you can cut down trees faster than Paul Bunyan. Do you know how to fix a cavity in an SHTF situation? Maybe not. Okay. So knowing people that have other skills is a good thing, which is why we all get together. We get to share information on things that we could maybe get those skills in. Now, I'm not saying anybody go to dental school, but maybe there's an idea. Hey, I need to find somebody who has some dental knowledge who can do something like this more than I have, just as an example. Okay. The one thing I do require is that we treat each other in here with respect and dignity. Okay. If you want to be an asshole, go somewhere else. Like I've said all the time, there's plenty of channels on YouTube where all they do is bitch. Okay. Never put out any sort of good information, but they do a great job bitching. So if that's the type of person you are, have at it. This ain't the place for you. If you want to learn, want to have some fellowship, want to have build a little camaraderie here, meet some people, get some questions answered, you're in the right spot. All right. So let us get into Q&A. So let me get to the top here and see what's on y'all's mind. Now, I want to remind everybody of this. There's a lot more of you than there is of me, okay? So if you put your question in, it's going to be 15 minutes or so before I get to it, okay? Because I got to go through all this. I just work my way from the top down. Linda Friesen talking about the car. Peppermint oil will evaporate in heat. Don't forget to reapply. True. Yes. Okay. It's not like you need to go put it out there every week or something, but you know, maybe once every couple of months, you should be okay. I mean, I had this happen 2 years ago. I had it happen now, as the mechanic says, because yes, sometimes I'll stay away because the smell of people in there. Okay, the smell of people lasted for 2 years. Peppermint oil is going to be stronger than that. So, but hey, if you can go in there and you can still smell peppermint, the mouse can smell it. Grit and Grace, we need another wine video, please. Well, I did the one back then on how to make it, and obviously I didn't do it on this one because we're already at the fermenting stage, and I'm not going to get any more fruit this year. The leaves are off the trees, or pretty close to gone, so no more fruit. So, the only other way I'm going to do it is if I do it out of bottled juice again, and you guys have seen that one. So, interested in my pear wine recipe, KS1 Big Dad. It was pretty simple. We took the pears, cut them up, ran them through a juicer, got all the juice out. Okay, it comes out with a pulp and everything. So then we poured all the pulp and juice through a coffee filter to get rid of the pulp and just leave the juice. And then did it just like my wine video, adding the yeast, adding the sugar, and let it sit for 3 weeks and ferment. So that's, go back and watch my wine video. It's, if you want to look it up, if I remember correctly, it's called Dust on the Bottle. Okay. And so you can look it up pretty easily, but showing me how to do it in grape juice with grape juice. It's the exact same thing, except you got to juice your fruit first. Flint McRock, make sure I don't mix up the pear wine with my pea fertilizer. Yeah, not making any of the urine fertilizer at this point. I mean, by then it would all be ammonia by next year. But yeah, I mean, we'll get going back on that in January and get some of that moving along. Goodness. The Cushnet prepper, hang candy canes on my ignition wires. There's a good idea. Clarity Jane, thank you for the super chat. Christmas money. Okay, and I'll mention this real quick here too, of things that we have coming up, because she said that. Clarity Jane mentioned Christmas money. Now, if you're new here and you don't know what we do, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, on every live stream, we do a trivia contest, okay? And it's going to be a question about something I've talked about in a video. Maybe it's about me, maybe it's about something I've done, whatever, but it's something that I've talked about in a video. And whoever gets the answer first in the chat will get to pick an envelope. I believe there's 9 Tuesdays and Saturdays between Thanksgiving and Christmas. They get to pick an envelope, 1 through 9. Whatever's in that envelope is the prize that they win. I've got a couple of them. I'm not going to tell you what they are, but I will tell you that Mrs. P and I have a budget of about $250 to $300 per prize for this video based on what we've got in Super Chats at this point. Okay. So, and some prizes will be worth maybe a little bit more. Depends. If there's more Super Chats that come in and I got extra, it's like, hey, you know what? I can add something to this one. So that's that. And then with Thanksgiving coming up, guys, week of Thanksgiving, we will do the annual Christmas drive, food drive, toy drive, animal shelter drive. We'll talk about that as we get a little bit closer, but I want y'all's help on how you want to divide that out, whether we want to do more for the animals, more for the kids, more for the food, how we want to break it out. Last year, I just kind of went with what I had. Some of you guys have sent me money here over the last 6 months that said, for the animal shelter or whatever, that's already parked and put away, waiting for to go in with that donation that we'll make to the animal shelter. So, all right, moving on. Let's see. Rural 2IC, did I see the bomb threats in the robot delivery service in Oregon today? No, I did not. Be interesting. Maybe that, if you've got any information, story or something like that, that I can track down something on, please email it to me. Whoops. Julie, thank you for the super chat for the Christmas drive, for the animal drive. There we go. Okay, we're a little ahead of the game on doing that. And I will say this, guys, when we do the food drive and things like that, it will be, please do not do it through super chat. Okay, we're going to do all that through Cash App. Couple of reasons. First off, guys know YouTube takes a big cut out of whatever you guys give in super chats. And second of all, it's not like, Julie just threw me $20. It's not like I get that today. I won't see that $20 until near the end of November. Okay. At least when it comes through Cash App, then I get the cash basically right away, and I can put it in my account and I can go spend it. A couple of you guys had the, what was it? If you remember, we did this a couple of years ago, and a lot of you had done the super chats. And fortunately, I think we raised a couple $1,000, and I had the money in the bank where I could front it to go buy the groceries before Christmas, go buy the food for the food drive before Christmas, and then get paid back in January. Last year, we raised over $10,000. I don't have that kind of cash to front. So yeah, I mean, at that point, then we miss Christmas. So I don't want to do something like that. Maverick, thank you for the super chat for Christmas. Grateful Preps, New Jersey for Christmas. This will be, you guys are gonna make this fun. Kevin, thank you as well. Whichever funds need more money, we will get it all. Like I said, we'll figure this out, but we're not starting the food drive, toy drive, animal shelter drive yet. Okay, so right now, anything you guys are doing, super chats, unless of course you tell me specifically for the animals, I'll park that off to the side. That's going toward us. Okay, so not me. Let's see. Stubborn Forever. What is my opinion on the ammo companies being bought out? Yeah, it was interesting that a Czech company bought out one of now it's completely lost train of thought. Yeah, why don't we just sell our military too? Okay, now, I mean, granted, you guys know me. I mean, I run two types of pistols. I run CZ or I run Smith & Wesson. CZ is Czech, okay? But it's 9mm Luger, right? It doesn't matter if, it doesn't have to be Czech ammo or something like that. I can buy it from whoever. Smith & Wesson, obviously American company now, a Tennessee company, okay? I can run the exact same 9mm through my Shield Plus that I can run through my SPO1. So, I mean, it's not any big deal. But again, why are we, I mean, ammo manufacturing primarily is done for the military. Yes, they make it for the civilian market as well. But why the hell are we now going to have our military equipment made by a foreign country? We talk about all these things about cell phones and TVs and everything made in China. And, oh, is there spyware in it? And not like you're going to put spyware in a bullet. But, what's the quality control? The Czech armament isn't amongst the best in the world and always has been. But the world's a different place. You know what? Maybe we can sell them a whole bunch of crap ammo. They won't know it till they fire it. And if it's in the middle of a war, oops, click, 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 that doesn't do a whole lot of good. Texas Sass, I planted the flowers you suggested back in March. Grew lots of green, but just now blooming. Why? Depends on the flowers. Some are like that. I mean, I've got like cosmos out in my backyard that we planted from seed, and they're just blooming now. Uh, it you got to remember those flowers, especially if they are perennials, they need time to build that root system to go further. Now, if they're annuals, they should have flowered a long time ago. But perennials, they need to build that root system. So next year you'll probably have flowers earlier. Let's put it that way. Prep Rebel, thank you for the super chat. For any meds that Copper may need, just because fur babies are important to us. Yeah, he still gets his spray under his arms from, like I said, he gets heat rash or whatever it would be. I don't know what it is. Mrs. P is insistent it's a chicken allergy. I just go with it. But that's what it is. But his hair is coming back. He looks like a dog again. He doesn't look like he has mange, so that's good. And then I showed you that blue stuff, whatever the hell it was, last week. And so we've been bathing him with that. So he's better, let's put it this way. So, and his ears are fine. So, but thank you for that, because God knows he's going to need something. All right. Jeffrey S. Northern Brewer or Midwest Brewing has all my 5 3 or 1 gallon wine, beer, spirits, or kombucha recipe kits for you out of St. Paul, Minnesota. That's great, but I mean, now with my beer, like I said, I just do the Mr. Beer stuff, and that works fine. Okay, my wine, I just make out of regular 100% juice in the store, or making it out of fruit that I can grow. Because I will tell you this, guys, in an SHTF event, you're going to want alcohol, all right? Somebody's going to drink. You're going to want to relax somehow. And there ain't going to be a liquor store to go buy your bottle of Jägermeister or whatever, Cuervo. It's like, okay, this is what we got. Okay, and that's why I showed you how to make the Applejack, showed you how to make the wine, because it's going to be one hell of a barter item. I know everybody talks about, the little airplane bottles of booze, and yeah, those will be too. But what do you think you're going to get better trade for? Half a gallon of wine or 1 ounce of Jack Daniels? Just saying. I mean, again, it's another one of those skills. You don't necessarily have to go do it now, but know how to do it, Foxenny. So what was the private caller all about last live stream? What was the voicemail about? A few of you guys said, sorry I didn't mention it in the next morning's video because it was a real nothing burger. But so after the live stream was over, first thing that I did was check the voicemail, and it was, "Hi, Sarah, call me. I've been trying to get a hold of you." That was the whole voicemail. Wrong number. 4 times. Must have been really important. And then the worst part about it was I can't even call her back and tell her it's a wrong number because it's a private number. So sorry, lady. No Sarah lives here. All right. Duffy's Tavern, Pinball, if and when this war heats up more, how long do you think our supply chain is affected? The only supply chain I'm worried about is petroleum. Okay. And granted, that can snowball. Okay. Because, it's not like we're importing much. I mean, yeah, sure, we get some food or whatever it is, food stuffs, but probably not a lot of the stuff that most of us eat. More of the ethnic foods that are coming from the Middle East. Okay. I don't know. I haven't ordered, exotic olives or anything like that ever in my life. I couldn't eat a falafel. Who knows? Okay. Maybe Dearborn, Michigan might be worried about where they're going to get their food, but Sharps Chapel, Tennessee really didn't care. I don't think we're importing the stuff for biscuits and gravy from, the Middle East. But the oil part is that what really surprises me, okay, is we haven't seen the price of gas go up yet. Now, granted, it's not, but you guys know how gas works. the instant something happens, gas goes up 30 cents. And then when it's over, it takes 6 weeks for the gas to come back down 30 cents. Okay. We haven't seen that, which surprises me. Now, granted, we're not importing oil from Israel. Okay. But as you start getting more and more of the other Middle Eastern countries come in, we're going to see what side they take. That's where I think it affects the supply chain. And then, of course, it comes into play of, all right, now how does that snowball? They passed the tip of my nose. Okay. Well, the trucks need oil to run. The machinery in the manufacturing facilities need petroleum to oil the machinery, grease the machinery, whatever, So that could, it's something that I'm paying attention to, but I mean, just the quick stuff to see that the price of fuel is not going up. I mean, oil is bouncing around $90 a barrel. Okay. And a week ago, you were hearing people saying, expect $150 a barrel of oil by the end of the year because of this war. That's a big jump. Now, if the war gets really bad, okay. But right now, we ain't seeing it. Okie dokie, where are we? Yeah, Kathleen Maddox says Jenna Ellis took a plea too. Yeah, there's been a few of them. Judy Who, what the heck is going on with the Republicans not agreeing for a speaker? Okay, my opinion. You have 4 factions in Congress right now. Okay, I mean, whether the House or the Senate, whatever it would be. You have the liberals or progressives, whatever you want to call them. You have the moderate Democrats. You have the rhinos, and you have MAGA. Okay, now the rhinos and MAGA control the House. They're 2 different parties. Tom Emmer is a rhino. Okay, and the conservative wing of the House is going, not happening. Okay, I thought we would have agreement on Jim Jordan. We did not. I don't know who they're going to have an agreement with. And I see comments all the time of what, and again, you're not saying it, but I'll kind of go with what you said. What's going on with the Republicans? But I see the comments. The Democrats never have these problems. Well, right. The Democrats don't, because Democrats aren't capable of independent thought. They're all a bunch of bobbleheads. Okay. Nancy Pelosi says, you're voting for Hakeem Jeffries. And they go, okay, yes. I mean, look at any vote. I mean, 97% of the votes, the Democrats just vote as a block. That's it. Whatever Nancy says or whatever Hakeem Jeffries says or whatever Chuck Schumer says, that's what they do. Okay. The people that vote for Democrats are not represented. They're told what to do. But that's how a dictatorship works. Nancy or Hakeem are the dictator. Chuck is the dictator. They tell everybody this is what you're doing, and everybody goes, what the Republicans are doing right now is how our government is supposed to work. They are supposed to come up with a compromise. Nobody gets everything they want. Okay. The conservatives want one thing. The rhinos want another thing. Oh God, the rhinos don't get what they want, but there's got to be some sort of compromise. And like I said earlier, if we don't get there, I don't care. Right now, crippled government is good for the economy. Lisa McLeod, thank you for the super chat. It says thank you for you and Mrs. Pinball for all you do for us. This is for the Children's Fund and the Animal Fund. The money has been sent to you via cash app. You'll have it to use. Thank you. Okay, appreciate that. Let's see. Oh, JD Paul. Okay, this is a good one. And I remember Cat Lady Life posted something before we started I wanted to talk about too. Hey, Pinball, please tell everyone be careful. Our dog was possibly poisoned. Stay alert. Yes, be careful with this, okay? And I'm going to bring it into what Cat Lady Life said before, that there were illegals arrested in Virginia today around her area that were trying to break into houses, and they're using Wi-Fi jammers to Stop security cameras. This is exactly why I have always said, do not have a system, a security system that is restricted to only Wi-Fi. Mine I can use on Wi-Fi, but it is also a direct radio signal to my receiver. So where I couldn't see it on my phone, because I can do that with my system, uh, it does not, there's nothing they can do to prevent the cameras from recording to the DVR other than painting over the cameras or ripping them out. Okay. So yeah, they're not even wired. So they're batteries. So they'd have to rip them out. Good luck reaching them. But this brings up the same thing. Dog possibly being poisoned. Be very careful. Watch what's going on your property. If people say, I'm not worried about my house getting broken into, I have dogs. Let me ask you this. Does your dog like hot dogs? Never met a dog in my life. It doesn't. Hot dogs are cheap. Okay. Put some poison in a hot dog, throw it in the yard. Dog's going to go eat the hot dog. Dog's dead. You no longer have any security from that dog. I mean, this is how criminals operate, guys. So be very alert as to what's going on, especially if you're in an area where crime is higher. I mean, I don't care if it's drugs or car theft or whatever it will be. If you're in an area that has a lot of illegals coming in, because the weather's getting colder and they can't go in their little shanty towns and makeshift villages and homeless areas or whatever, homeless encampments. They're looking for somewhere warm. That's going to be your house. Okay. It goes back to the old prudent things. Lights on timers, somebody's home. Okay. Talking to your neighbors. Hey, you keep an eye on my house, I'll keep an eye on your house. If you know your neighbor goes to work every morning at 5:30 and gets home at 6:30, pay attention. If there's a car in the driveway that's not supposed to be there that you don't recognize, and they're not home, so it's not the cleaning lady showing up, okay? Yeah. Call them. Hey, there's a Chevy Suburban sitting in your front driveway. You know who that is? No idea. Call the cops, and I mean, I'm not going to tell you not to intervene, but if you do, be careful. Okay, I see my deal. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's coming back. All right. Yes. Non-alcoholic tonight. I know. Don't give me crap about the bush. I've had this for months. Okay. Let's see where we are. Ann Palmer, I have an abundance of jalapenos. I really want to can some. If I freeze them now, do you think they'll still can good later? I don't know. I don't freeze my jalapenos. I mean, I freeze my peppers. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I put up 40 pounds of peppers in the freezer a couple of weeks ago. You guys remember that? If you're going to mix them with scrambled eggs or something or put them in a soup, yeah, I don't know about making cowboy candy with them. Possible? It might work. I can't tell you. I'll give you another suggestion, and I think I showed this to you guys a year or so ago. Dehydrate a bunch of your jalapenos. Okay. It's great to sprinkle in soups or chili, like it's basically a jalapeno chili powder. Dehydrate them, crush them up in a blender or whatever, mortise and pestle or whatever. Do it that way. It's great as a seasoning, which in an SHTF guys, trust me, you're going to want seasonings. Okay. So jalapeno is going to be a good one. The other thing is it makes one hell of a self-defense item. Okay. You get dehydrated jalapenos, you have no freaking idea how hot those things get. Throw that in somebody's face, they're done. Okay. You get some of that in your eyes, you're out. Okay. And I've got, probably about 4 or 5 quarts of jalapeno powder over there. I'll never use all that to eat, but it's very good to have and you can get creative on how you want to use it. Okay. But Very good to have for self-defense as well. Soapy Gal 1. Did I play Halloween pranks as a kid? Okay. In I left Chicago in 1979. I was 12. Okay. And so we'd go out trick-or-treating, everything like that as kids. That was it. We wound up moving up to the suburbs of Detroit, and I'll never go back to Michigan in my life. No offense to you guys that live up there, but it was probably the worst. High school was the worst time of my life. Okay. Couldn't stand people up there. Probably where I was, don't get me wrong. But Michigan, at least back in the 80s, I don't know if they still do, had this tradition called Devil's Night. And so on Devil's Night, that was when all the kids went out and vandalized and trashed whatever they could. They'd spray paint cars, they'd throw eggs at houses, they'd TP houses, whatever. So what I did on Devil's Night, what my brother did on Devil's Night, we sat upstairs in our bedroom windows with rifles pointed out the window. That's what I did. Yeah. And a scope on it, a flashlight, and they could see me in the window. We got hit one time on the side of the house we couldn't see. That was it. And the funny part was somebody painted a swastika on the side of our house. Yeah. Let's see. Scott Denny, what we use is solar lights under the car or truck. Mice and rats don't like light. We use this when boondocking. Okay. I could see how that would work. All right. Liz Watson, something's eating massive holes in my cabbage. Help. You got cabbage worms, inevitably. You'll see them on there. And you'll get, I've showed it a couple of times. Just go on Amazon. I always want to say it's Bear, but I forget who it is. It's a little white bottle. It's about that big. It says Caterpillar Killer on it. Get some of that. Use that. It's organic. Does great. Done. End of story. Mom Survival. Do I think sleeper cells have been activated? I have. If they have, we'd have seen something. So by that logic, I'm going to say no. Have they been contacted? Probably. The answer is if this happens, then you go do that. So but I have no way of any idea. I mean, my guess is just that it's a guess. Me and Pawpaw did some pharmaceutical prepping today. Good Lord, the prices. I'm hoping by pharmaceuticals you meant things like, I don't know, NyQuil or prescriptions, and that pharmaceuticals going, Hunter, hi, can you get because that's not the kind of pharmaceuticals you want to be buying. Doris P, any current draft deferments? No idea. That Kentucky girl won. What is the likelihood we're going to war? Well, okay, let's define how this is. War? Korea wasn't a war. Vietnam wasn't a war. Afghanistan, Iraq, Kuwait, those weren't wars. War has to be declared by Congress. Okay. Will we get into a conflict, a police action, whatever other bullshit term they're going to use? Probably. Like I said, 33 Americans already killed. And, all it's going to take is something big. Let's say we have another missile fired at one of these carrier groups. That might do it. Let's have a dogfight, when one of our planes goes in to help something. I don't know, however this is going to work. Let Iran do something stupid. And we'll be at war fast. That's okay. If we can turn Iran into a sheet of glass, I'd be perfectly happy with that. KP Tiger, is it too late to apply to Opus Generator due to medical problems? You'd have to contact them. I have no idea if their Opus Helps thing is still running. I don't know. I mean, when they tell me it comes out, usually I'll tell you. Whether or not, how long it runs, that's up to them. They don't contact me every day and say, yeah, we got 2 more. So you'd have to get with them, check out their website. GC, hello from Maine. Do I till in my leaves before winter or in the spring? In the spring. I want to shred my leaves now. I want to use them as a bed cover, okay, over the winter, because if you've got anything in the soil, perennials like my asparagus, I want to kind of keep them from freezing. Not that we get that cold here, but here in Maine, okay. I'm going to be putting in my garlic here soon, so I want to be able to keep those from freezing. So anything you want to keep that soil relatively warm, because if you can keep it relatively warm, you're going to be able to work it earlier in the spring. Just make sure you shred your leaves first. I don't care if you use a leaf shredder or you use a lawnmower or whatever, because I found out the hard way that leaves don't break down here as fast as they have for me in other places. And so I had a whole lot of work trying to till in leaves in one garden that I didn't shred last year. Make it easier on yourself. Just shred it. It'll be finer. They'll till in a lot easier, make it a lot easier going forward. But yeah, you till them in the spring. In the winter, you just want to use them as a uh, weed barrier and a blanket. Okay, we shot to the bottom. A Cushnet prepper. We don't have to sell off our military. We just leave it behind in Afghanistan. That's the equipment. I'm talking about the people. I mean, when the U.S. military starts getting paid by, hey, their paycheck starts coming in yuan, we have problems. Let's see. Jim Steiner, gas has actually dropped 18 cents a gallon in north central Pennsylvania. I don't know what everybody's paying here. The cheapest I've seen is $2.95, but that gas station always undercuts everybody. Most everywhere else, I'm seeing it somewhere between 303 and 305, which is actually down from the 319 we were at, maybe 3 weeks ago. So yeah, I mean, I've seen, 10 to 15 cent drop here too. Memberberry, what do I think about Putin apparently collapsing in his apartment from cardiac arrest? I'd love to see a confirmed story on that. Yeah, I mean, until I see that in a legitimate news source, I don't even give it a second thought. Acushnet, have I made a still? No, Mrs. P won't let me get one. She's too worried about me making booze. She's okay with me making the wine or the beer or something like that. She's too worried about me making moonshine. Running Warrior, gas staying low because we have an election coming up. That would make sense if the SPR wasn't basically empty. Okay. So yeah, I mean, we don't control the price of West Texas Intermediate, Brent crude, anything like that. I mean, that's on the market, and we can't manipulate the United States can't manipulate all the oil that's traded around the world. So could that have something to do with it? And there be the oil cartels artificially holding prices down? Yes. But I can't blame Biden for that. Or I don't know, maybe because they can't give Biden credit for that. Let's see. We just talked about that one. Soapy Gal 1, will I be in costume on Halloween live stream? I guess you'll have to be here next Tuesday to find out. I don't know. Depends on how my day goes. Depends on if I even have a costume. Marie Doyle, Pinball, what branch of the service did you serve in? Army. I was Army Intelligence. Rob Hoyle, when will Hillary Clinton cut a deal for saying she won the 2016 election, but Trump stole it? Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing. I'm not an election denier. Really, how many video clips and tweets do you want us to show? Husky Mom, I don't understand what my Lobo is. Okay. Elmer Fudd, no. Let's see. Cha-Cha, is a battery backup for a security system good enough? Yeah, that's kind of the point. I mean, I've got my system, my security is, I mean, I think I showed this to you guys a while ago. They don't even make my security system anymore. I mean, it's only about 3 years old, but there's upgraded ones now. But it's the cameras all around that are all battery operated cameras. So I don't have to wire anything. So I've got them through my yard, and they all transmit to a DVR that I have set up where it's plugged into my EcoFlow river that is plugged into the wall. So if the power goes out, the river automatically powers up keeps my security system going. Now, granted, if the power goes out for a long time, I'm going to have to rotate my batteries on there, my generators on there, to keep my security going so I can charge it. But right now, if the power goes out for 12 hours, it's not a big deal. I mean, the DVR uses like 2 watts. I mean, it's next to nothing. So, a tiny little generator will work fine for something like that. Prayerful EA, don't forget the speaker is third in line after the president and vice president. Sure, and we have a speaker pro tem right now, which is the secession plan is still intact, so don't worry there. John Faramelli, Mr. P, do I have bulletproof vests? And if so, do I have any recommendation on a company? I've got body armor, and it's from Spartan Arms. So, yeah, yes, I've got level 3+ body armor. So, but I guess that answers the question. Okay. Sleepy Joe, the eternal question. How many guns does a man need? Well, technically, you can only fire 2 at once if you're good enough to fire with both hands. So, 2. But again, I said this many times, it depends on the situation. You're not going to go deer hunting with a pistol, okay? And, you're depending on what you want to do. I mean, different weapons for different places. You're not going to walk into Walmart with an AR-15 strapped over your shoulder. You could, but probably get a couple of weird looks, depending on the state you're in. So how many does somebody need? Whatever's comfortable for you for any situation as you're going to be in. Do you have one for home protection? Do you hunt? Do you have one for hunting? Okay. Do you have something that you can carry with you? What are you comfortable with? What are the situations that you find yourself in, and what would be the most prudent solution if you got in trouble in those situations? DT, Pinball, explain what Everclear alcohol is for people that don't know all the different uses like medical, cleaning, making apple cinnamon moonshine, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, Everclear is a very good prep. It's, was it 198 or 199 proof? I don't know, maybe they get to 200 proof at this point. That would be pure alcohol, okay? And Everclear is good enough. You can use it as a fire starter. You can use it to clean a wound. You can use it, you get completely wasted on it. But, you can use it as an antiseptic. There's many uses for Everclear. People will say, oh, I get vodka or whatever. Most vodka is 80 proof, which means it's 40% alcohol. Good, but remember, go back to COVID and washing your hands, and everybody wanted 90% alcohol, to clean your hands. Vodka is 40% alcohol. Okay, stock up on the rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, whatever it would be. You're not going to drink that stuff. Everclear, okay. Again, you can use that as a barter item, but I'd be careful trading for it because it's clear. Somebody could sit there and slip isopropyl alcohol in there and you wouldn't know it. And all of a sudden you are in a world of hurt. Let's just say that. That's the thing to remember, guys. When the world goes to shit, when we wind up in a barter system where there aren't stores, when there aren't regulatory bodies or anything like that, all bets are off. You don't know what's good and what's not. You think there's counterfeit stuff out there now? Wait till an SHTF event comes up. Counterfeit silver, counterfeit. I mean, I talked before on how to check if gold and silver is real. If somebody wants to buy, I don't know, a bottle of Everclear from you, and they want to give you an ounce of silver for it, okay? Let's say that's a fair market value for it, just hypothetical. Do you know how to check to make sure that they gave you an ounce of silver, or did they give you an ounce of melted down aluminum? I mean, how did they know that what you gave them was actually Everclear and not water with some gasoline in it? This is why it's so important to find who you trust, provide for yourself, because you're going to get stuck in situations where you're going to have to trade with somebody you don't know, and that's a complete leap of faith. Ha! Vicky Savage, if dehydrated jalapenos are hot, try dehydrated Carolina Reapers. No. And there was the guy, I think, who invented the Carolina Reaper, I saw this a couple of days ago, just introduced a new pepper that I think is twice as hot or something like that. I forget how many Scoville units were, but I mean, there were so many freaking zeros on it, I needed a longer computer. Yeah. Von Mousetrap, Mr. P, if there's one thing a person can do to prepare for World War, what would you do? There are way too many variables in that. Where am I? Okay. Am I in New York City? Am I in the boonies in the Ozarks in Missouri? In my situation where I am with everything I have, if there's one thing I need to do, I need to figure out exactly how to seal off that one portion of my house from floor to ceiling so I have complete access without anything being able to get into it. Okay. We know exactly where we're going to go. We know how to do this. I'm just having an issue with how I can effectively seal a 14-foot high ceiling down to the floor quickly. Tammy Hance, something is eating the leaves on my green peppers in Florida, but I don't see any bugs. You got bugs, inevitably. I'm hoping I don't have to say the easy part to check the underside of the leaves, because that's where like aphids and stuff are gonna hide. But I would get actually what I'd probably start with on that, get some vinegar, some Dawn dish soap, and some water. Mix the vinegar about 1-to-1 with the water, and then put a couple of tablespoons of Dawn dish soap into a spray bottle, like an old Windex bottle or something like that, and spray your plants down. And that's where I'd start. Okay. I mean, obviously, you're talking completely organic, not putting any chemicals in your garden. Do that. If it rains, you got to do it again. But do that for about a week and see if it solves the problem. That would be my start. Running Warrior, super concerned about sleeper cells hitting concerts, NFL games, and large city marathons. You hit the key on the NFL games. I don't even think NFL games. You want to completely cause chaos? Go hit a college football game. I mean, think about, Michigan Stadium or the Horseshoe or something like that. 100,000 people in there. Do something like that. Okay. Even if they only hit one end of the stadium, imagine the chaos it causes and the people that get trampled or whatever. I mean, that's your biggest You know, they always talk about, oh, the Super Bowl, the Super. You know, how many people fit in the stadium for the Super Bowl? Twice as many fit in the stadium at a college football game, at some of the big arenas for college football games. Meanwhile, no, not the hunter variety. Good. 8:59. Okay, I'll try to get a couple in quick. Uh, Ghostwalker Airsoft Tech, word on the street, all the military contractors are actively hiring mercenaries. I believe that. I think they always are. Uh, you know, and there's guys that'll go. I mean, we got guys that got out of our military or vets that said, hey, you know what? I'll go work in Ukraine as a merc. Let's see. October 20, caveman look, October 23rd, 1983, 243 Marines died in Beirut. Yes, that is today. Or it is yesterday, actually. And it is 9 o'clock, so that would be the end, guys. Good night, everybody. And we'll move on. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you on Saturday. Well, see you in the morning, I guess. Pinball out.